all major winners. Is that something that you feel this is a course that maybe suits players of that caliber, that you should be up there this week because of that?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to continue that trend. That's for sure. Yeah, I remember quite a bit. I mean, I sent to Harry on the last time I was on the 18th green here was during the prize ceremony when Tiger won, and I remember I somehow sneaked my way like under the rope onto the back of the green, and I was standing right behind him, and his glove was still in his back pocket, and like I could have reached and got it and ran. It would have been a good story to tell him, but I obviously didn't, and but it was the first time I ever watched Tiger play live. I remember the first shot I ever saw him hit was a drive off the 5th hole, par 5, and he hit a 2-iron into the green. And it was really cool. I idolized him growing up, and to actually see the man in the flesh was pretty exciting. And then in 2004, I'd sort of made a name for myself in the amateur scene at that point, and I'd gotten to know Chubby and Darren and stuff. So I was a little more in the sort of, I remember, being in the clubhouse and stuff and meeting Ernie after he won. And so had a little more access then because of that. But yeah, really good memories coming down here watching. It's amazing that it's been 17 years and the tournament hasn't been back since. So glad to be back, and certainly a lot's changed in the last 17 years since the last time I was here.
Rory, just one for me. You're working on a few things with Pete Cowan. You had progress. You've won at Quail Hollow. A couple of majors have come and gone. For the second half of the season, what would be a good second 4 or 5 months? You've got the Open coming up. You've got this week, of course. You have the Olympics and the Ryder Cup. So what would be a good end of season review if we were looking at it in 4 months' time?
Yeah, I mean, I think getting myself into contention in another major, so getting myself into contention at the Open would be great. I think having a chance to win both the FedEx Cup and the Race to Dubai, I think they're 2 pretty good goals of mine that I'd like to try to achieve. And yeah, like have a great Ryder Cup. Obviously, that's very important. There's a lot of golf to play up until that point, but I'd say they're the main goals. Is give myself a chance at the Open, give myself a chance in both FedEx Cup and Race to Dubai, and try to have a really good Ryder Cup.
Okay, Claire, we're all good here. If we can go back to the stream, please.
Okay, so the first person in the queue in the stream is Phil Casey. Phil, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Thanks, Claire. Hi, Rory. Thanks for your time as always. You mentioned getting in to Dublin at 5:15 this morning. Can you just outline sort of how difficult or otherwise your travel plans have been, if you've had to jump through any COVID-related hoops to get there this week?
Not particularly. I just, I took a PCR test within 48 hours of flying. I dropped the girls up in New York with Erica's parents, and then I flew on from there. So yeah, it actually hasn't been too bad at all. I didn't, because I took a COVID test 48 hours prior to within 48 hours of flying. I didn't need to take one after I landed in Ireland or so. Just came straight into the bubble, and it's been pretty straightforward. It's been quite nice.
And just a quick follow-up on a similar note, what do you make of the restrictions coming up for the Open at Sandwich? Obviously, some players are not going to be happy. They're probably used to some things slightly easier on the PGA Tour. Has it had any impact on your plans?
Yeah, I mean, everything's had an impact up until last week. My family were going to travel with me, and we were going to be here for 3 weeks. I mean, my original plan was to play here, take a week off that week in between, which is now the Scottish Open, and then play the Open. But just with travel restrictions, and obviously with me being exempt as a sports person, and the restrictions not maybe being as heavy for me as they would be for Erica and Poppy, for example, I just felt like it wasn't fair to put them through what they would have to go through to be here with me. So plans changed very quickly, and we made the decision that I'd travel on my own. And because I wasn't going to go back to the States for 1 week in between the Irish and the Open, thought, if I'm here, I may as well play the Scottish. So it sort of it went quickly from them coming to them not coming, and then me playing 3 events in a row.
Excellent. Thanks for your time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Ian Carter. Ian, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi, Rory. Just a couple of things. One, it's been a while, hasn't it, since you've been this side of the pond. So I just wonder how that feels. And also just in a wider golfing context, that was a really encouraging performance at the US Open. So how much does being able to play in Scotland actually play into your hands and create momentum for Sandwich? Yeah,
it does. It is nice to get a tournament on a links course before going into Sandwich. So, if anything, it's probably all worked out for the best. And yeah, it was like, I was very encouraged walking away from Torrey Pines, to have a share of the lead on the final day through, a few holes. I give myself a good chance. I looking back, the one thing that I kicked myself about, it wasn't like the double on 12 is, you're going to get some bad breaks, and I got a bad break, but it was the 3-putt on 11 that stopped the momentum. I made a really good putt for par on 10, and then probably hit my best shot of the day into 11. Great 5-iron into the middle of the green. And then, that 3-putt was just it was pretty sloppy. And that killed the momentum to go on from there. So, but I thought the week was a real positive on the whole, and I'm looking forward to these next 3 weeks. I didn't do much last week in terms of practice, knowing that I'm away from my family for 5 of the next 6 weeks. So I wanted to try and spend as much time with them as I could. So I only hit balls one day. So this will be a nice week to get myself back into it, and put the head down, practice. Great facilities here to sort of do what I need to do, and get some good work done, and feel ready to go, not just for this tournament, but for the next few weeks coming up.
Thanks, Rory. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next up is David Facey. David, if you could unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, Rory.
Hi, David.
Rory, you were saying at Torrey that you felt that instead of hoping to play well, you actually expected to play well. I just wonder what made the difference, and is that a feeling that's been reinforced by the work you've managed to do going into these next 3 events?
Yeah, it is. It's again, look, it's I've said it sort of most of the year. It's just me having a better understanding of my golf swing, and having something that's just a touch more reliable under pressure. And that's just been with the work that I've done, having a little more control of the club face, a bit more club face stability through impact. So just, I went out at Torrey on Sunday, at least with a plan, knowing what I needed to do to play well and have a chance to win the tournament. Where maybe previously over the last couple of years, it's been more of a wishful, hopeful sort of thing, where felt like I was a little more, I knew what I needed to do, and it was just a much more comfortable feeling.
Yeah, you made the point as well, Rory, that it had been a while since you felt you were really involved in the mix in a major on the final day. Did you feel perhaps surprisingly comfortable when you did put yourself back in there?
I did. I felt pretty comfortable. Tee to green, I played great those first few holes. I missed a couple of chances, missed a chance on 2 and on 7, and maybe missed a chance on 9 as well. So, I turned in 1 under when I really could have turned in 3, and that would have been a big difference. And then, as I said, that 3-putt in 11 was a momentum killer, and just from there, I was sort of chasing a little bit, and it's a very hard golf course to chase on. But I felt good. I felt going in to the final round again, like I had a better understanding, a little more certainty about what I was doing, and that led to being much more comfortable out there.
Just one more from me, Rory. How much of the good play was down to actually making a positive start for the change in the majors?
Yeah, it was. I think if you look historically at all, or most of my wins, and certainly my major wins, I've started the tournament well. I felt like I played very well on Thursday at Torrey, and ended up having to birdie the last hole to shoot under par, but I felt like I played better than that. I felt it would have been a crime to not shoot under par with how I played that day. So it was great to get off to a good start. Didn't quite keep it going on Friday. I didn't play quite as well, but then, you know, the round on Saturday got me right back into it. But as you said, you don't want to be starting those things off on the back foot. And, you know, it was nice to be able to start well.
Thanks, Rory. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Ruth. Ruth, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi, Rory. Good to see you again.
You too, Ruth.
Been a while. Bumped into your dad at the driving range last week.
Of course you did.
Quarantine. I think your mum was looking rid of him.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, just picking up on what you're talking about, the pressure. I know you've talked about it over the last few weeks and trying not to put yourself under that pressure. This is the first time back at the Irish Open since you hosted it for 4 years, and that in itself brought a lot of extra pressure. Do you feel a weight is lifted? You know, does it feel different coming back this year to the Irish Open?
A little bit. I think there's always going to be a bit of added pressure when you come back and play an Irish Open, especially, you know, obviously, you know, being from here, but also being the favorite for the tournament and all that sort of stuff. So there's always those sort of pressures, but I feel like as long as I just, you know, I stick to my game plan and you know, my own expectations and try to get the most out of myself, then that's all I can do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this week. You know, I feel like it's, you know, the Irish Open that I won at the K Club is, you know, it's a pretty similar setup to what it is here. Might be a little firmer this week because of the weather, but you know, a decent parkland courses, you know, it's something familiar to me. You know, it's what I've been playing for the last couple of years. And yeah, I mean, I feel good about my game. So yeah, there's always going to be pressure there, but you know, I think if I just stick to what I'm doing and put my head down, I'll be okay.
And just a follow up on the fans as well. You haven't played in front of home fans since the Open, when you felt you got that deeper connection with the fans. So you'll be, you know, I know you're excited to play in front of fans again since things opened up, but I'm sure this will be extra special this week.
It will, yeah. I mean, I wish, you know, it would be great if there was more fans allowed in, but I understand that, you know, that's not quite you know, it's not quite possible at this time in this country. But it's at least nice that we're playing in front of somebody, right? You know, it's, you know, whenever we started back last year, you know, when there was no fans allowed, it was, you know, it was a tough atmosphere to play in, and you getting used to playing in front of fans again in the States has been really nice. And you know, it was great to get that win at Quail Hollow in front of a lot of people, and you know, be in contention at the US Open with quite a few there as well. So you know, this is a bit of a step back from what we're used to over the last few weeks, but it's better than playing in front of nobody.
Great, thanks for your time. Good luck this week, Rory.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll go to Ronan McNamara. Ronan, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi, Rory. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Just going to your work with Pete Cowan, have you done any work with him since the US Open? And will you see much from him now in Europe over the next 3 weeks?
So I haven't. I spoke to him once after the US Open. He headed back home, and honestly, I hit balls once last week. I hit balls for about 2 hours on Friday, and that's the only time I touched my clubs last week. So did a little bit of work, enough to sort of keep me from feeling too guilty. But I'll see him quite a bit. I'll see him in Scotland next week. I'll see him at the Open as well. But at that point, I mean, Scotland, we might work on a couple of things. But by the time the Open comes around, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, me doing my thing and, you know, basically hopefully giving him nothing to say. You know, at that point I should be playing well, and everything should be on the right track. But, you know, I've got a decent week here to hopefully play well and get myself back into the sort of form I was in the US Open and go from there.
Just a final question. With all due respect to the field, it's probably not as high a quality of field as we've had in previous Irish Opens. Do you think that could be because it isn't on a links course and it's in an awkward stage before the Open and the Scottish Open?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's tough to go into the Open having it be your third week in a row. I think a lot of guys feel that, and you're not going to get many of the international guys coming over to play. They're not going to play the Irish Open and then take a week off and then play the Open. So the date is, it's a better date than we had in May, I think, but it's probably still not perfect to have a great field. And you see the field that the Scottish Open have next week. It's very, very strong. So I don't really know what the answer is, or it's obviously not as strong as it has been in previous years. And and there's a few factors to that as well. You've got the tournament in Detroit on, PGA Tour this week, and guys just have so many options of where to play and when to play, and some guys are going to make the decision to play here, and others aren't.
Cheers, Roy. All the best this week.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ronan. And I think that's just about all we've got time for there. I think, Phil, you wanted to ask another question, but we're out of time. So, Rory, we'll let you go.
No worries. Are Germany up yet or not? You
can let us know, and we'll see you later in the week, no doubt.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.